So what happened? Well, I mean, in the beginning, everything was great. The brokers are phenomenal. Like I have the utmost respect for the brokers there, Mark and Lou. Again, great guys, always trying to do the best what they can with for their agents. However, with that said, the issue that we have was leadership, corporate. I kind of talked about the model before. Remember, I said 70-30, and that if you bring an agent on, you get 10% of whatever that person makes, right? But what do you think that 10% comes from? It doesn't come from corporate. It comes from the broker side, right? So what's happening is, the brokers are really only operating with a 20% profit margin. Great. And that's if you had a 70%. If the brokers play with your commission and they up it a little bit, now it's even less. So, your hands are kind of tied as far as what you can offer, extras, right? Trying to offer extras for your agents, because they don't cap. So you don't cap under exit. And that's another fault that they have, but we'll get into that. So, on a corporate level, during this time, what was happening is our regional manager was actually changing. He was stepping down, and they were looking for a new person to take over the role of the region. I was kind of excited because I felt that even before, that's where we lacked, right? We lacked the regional presence. We lacked the marketing. We lacked just the oomph, the presence, right? Like people didn't know who Exit was. So my role there was I was the director of agent development. All onboarding was pretty much going to go through me. Well, they would onboard the market, and then after that, I would take over and help with development, right? Get the business going and all that good stuff, which is right up my alley. That's exactly what I wanted to do. That, and then also going to be a core part of the management group. So meeting with the brokers every week, going over, what the brokerage is doing, how to overcome challenges, things like that. So it was interesting. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was good stuff. I, enjoyed my time there. Had my office, brought my team with me, which I truly appreciated. I was able to negotiate, a good split with them. So it was a great beginning. So how did we handle COVID? Now that was that was nuts. Pretty well, I want to say, considering no one knew what was, how to handle it, how to handle a shutdown. I mean, I've never experienced a shutdown, never experienced a lockdown in my life. I think no one has, right? I mean, that was pretty nuts. But at that point, I think it just showed that we could communicate with the agents differently, right? Even though physically we weren't there, we can still support the agents. We started doing a lot of Zoom calls and meetings and things like that, and we got through it, and it was good, in the beginning, and of course, like anything, it had some challenges, but it showed that we didn't need an office in order to be connected, and I think that's where we started seeing some other brokerages kind of expand and take off because, and we'll get deeper into that, but what we found is that these other brokerages have different models where like you don't need a brick and mortar. You don't have to be, in an office as a broker. You don't have to have that overhead. And that's what was killing, I would say these guys or anyone that has a franchise is that you're paying for that overhead. And, the amount of agents that actually take advantage of it. Look, I'm going to tell you, on a daily basis, I was in the office probably Monday to Friday from like 8:30, 9 o'clock to about 2 in the afternoon. You know how many people were there? 3. Me, Mark, and Lou. That's it, right? So every now and then, an agent will pop in and out. If we had a good day, maybe we have 5 people in the office, in a space that can hold, 20 people, 25 people. It just, it didn't make sense. It was kind of like a ghost town there. But anyways, just COVID kind of showed that we could actually still do business and we didn't physically have to be there. So when did I start seeing issues? Well, it started when the regional manager changed. So we had the regional manager step down, and to be honest with you, I was excited about it. Nice guy, but I felt that he really didn't do much to give Exit a presence in the Northeast, right? It still doesn't have a presence. And, so we thought change of blood would be good, right? Some folks even, hinted like, why don't you go for it? I did not want that responsibility for various reasons. So, we had a new manager, regional manager I was kicking in. And when they told me who they hired, that's when the first red flag kind of went off. It was a gentleman that had no real estate background at all. He's in hotel management, so he's used to dealing with employees, telling people what to do, and then they have to do it because if not, they're not going to get paid, right? You have the power of firing people and things like that. Not with real estate, different animal, right? You're dealing with all independent contractors. You're dealing with multiple business owners. So you don't have that same pull, right? It's more of, what are you going to do for me, for my business, versus why should I follow that, right? If it's not going to help me, then that I have, I can get information in other ways. So I went to one meeting with him, and it was a brokerage, like the whole Northeast got together. And when I got there and I saw the amount of brokers that were there, my mouth dropped, because I think at that point, in this room, we only had about maybe 10 brokers, which means that we have maybe 10 offices throughout the Northeast. And I said, oh my God, we have a bigger problem than what I originally, suspected. We just have no presence in this area. Now, part of that is because of the model. And I remember we talked about the model where the brokers are only operating with a 20% split, but on the agent level, the agents don't cap. So you go 70-30 until you bring in $100,000 in gross commission. Then your commission goes up to 90-10, but it's never 100%. I don't care what anybody says, 90% is never 100%. So you are always paying into the broker, no matter what, no matter how much money you're making. Yeah, you're getting the residual piece, but that was the other fault. The residual piece was only 10% of what the agent you brought in. So it was single tier, single level. If that agent brought somebody else in, I didn't benefit, right? I had no reason why I should invest in that person's, growth, because it doesn't benefit me. It benefits the other agent, but that was it. And that's a huge limitation. Now, I wasn't aware of this because I didn't know of other models, really. I've heard of things. Keller Williams, I heard about their model, and that's, they do that whole profit share thing. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But other than that, I didn't know of another model that was, sustainable, a model that can really encourage growth. So that right there was a limitation. I remember having a meeting with him, and I said, listen, how are you going to handle the agent cap? And I remember him looking at me like, what are you talking about? And I said, oh my God. I said, do you know what a cap is, a commission cap? And it was like a deer in headlights. So, well, other brokerages are offering agents that they're capping their commission at a certain amount, right? So for instance, certain companies, like they'll cap you at 16,000. After you get 16,000, guess what? The agent gets 100% commission. How do you compete against that? Crickets. You don't have an answer for it. Okay, so it was either we have to rethink this model or figure it out. And then the other red flags were corporate. Steve Morris, he's the founder of Exit, came from Remax, brilliant guy. I actually had the honor of meeting him in Salem, Mass, years ago. Terrific speaker. This guy's amazing. I don't know if he's still alive, to put it this way. We haven't heard from him. We see pictures of him and like little snippets, but he's not running the company. It doesn't look that way. It looks like everything's coming from, some other people. But the issue that you have is the folks that are running the people, it's a certain demographic, right? You're looking at folks that have been in the business for a long time. They're used to doing business a certain way. When it comes to technology, the new advances, video, social media marketing, things like that, they don't fully understand it or appreciate it. In my opinion, they feel it's a fad, that it's going to go away. As long as you keep door knocking and cold calling, you'll be fine. So that support, as far as on the leadership, wasn't there. Like, they didn't understand social media marketing or anything like that. And that's where we really started seeing the major problems. So for instance, right, if I'm having a director meeting with higher ups within the brokerage, and we're doing a Zoom call, my Zoom, right, my camera was always the best one that was there, right? I have green screen going. I have a studio. I got green screen. I got lights going on. I have a backdrop. Like, it's professional looking. Because you need to come across that way, right? If you're meeting with other professionals, you want to come across professionally. We got folks with grainy pictures. You can hardly see them on the camera, or they forget how to turn their camera on, or they don't know how to mute the mic, or like, I mean, it was just, I don't know, it was just a crap show. I just, and these are the people that are expecting to teach me how to be proficient in social media and all this other stuff. It just wasn't happening. So demographically, listen, I honestly, look, I feel Exit is for if you're a person of a certain age and you don't want to change, and you're stuck and you're good, in your ways, and you don't want to know about advances and new things that are happening, then stay there. Then you're fine. You're good. But if you're a younger person, a younger agent, and you're really looking to be aggressive, and you really want to take advantage of the tools that we have today, you're not going to find it there. And you're not going to make the money that you would be making at another brokerage. I truly found that out. And I started looking. I started looking at, other avenues, and seeing, what was available, because I knew that the model was not sustainable. I knew that we're going to keep losing brokerages because at the end of the day, the culture wasn't there. It's not, after a while, when you're an agent and you're paying 30, 40, 50 grand to your broker on a yearly basis, you're going to start thinking about, do I really like my broker that much that I want to give them 40, 50 grand a year? Or can I use that money in a different capacity, better, maybe for myself, for my family? How can I use that, right? And that's what it was. It's just, at the end of the day, the model is just not sustainable. The company itself is not. I think Exit Realty is going to be taking an exit very shortly, to be honest with you. And look, and it's tough because there's some good people there. Again, I respect the brokers that are there. I have other agents that I'm friends with. I just feel that if you're looking for growth, it's not there. So how the brokers take the departure? Well, I mean, it was, as good as they can take it. I mean, they knew. Look, before I left, I really, so I found another model. I found another brokerage that I became excited about, and I tried to introduce them to that brokerage, and say, listen, what they have to offer, everything that we're looking for as far as for our agents. We want to provide them with the best training, the up-to-date, most advanced social media training, and not just. Now, when I say social media, right, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, advertise on Facebook, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. But how? If you have people that have never done it before, right, it's like you need, to hold their hand. This is how you position the camera. This is the lighting. This is what you do. This is how you say it. We need that type of training. And with all social media, right, we got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got YouTube, you got LinkedIn, how to leverage all these things, all these tools, so that way you could be more productive. And so I had to meet with one of my partners now, and they digested the information and so forth. And actually, they met with some other exit brokerages that actually transitioned to this model from other states. And at the end of the day, I think, they felt that it wasn't the right move for them at this time. Again, it's a franchise, and that's one of the things with the franchise. When you're a franchise, then you're locked into a contract, right? You're locked in for an X amount of time until that contract is up, and then you make a decision if you want to renew or whatever you want to do. So for me, it's like, well, I already played the independent game. I already know what it is to be an independent broker and what the costs are going to be associated with that. So if by chance, I don't know, we don't, we don't talk about this anymore because I'm not there. But if they were going to go independent, then I'm looking at, do you want to reinvent the wheel, and do I want to be part of that? I really don't, right? Especially when you already know the system exists out there and you don't have to go through all that. So, I remember we had a meeting, and one of them turned to me and looked at me and said, "What are you still doing here?" And I said, honestly, because I want to bring you guys on, because I appreciate them. I enjoy working with them. I really do. It's hard to find other people with similar mindsets, right? When you really care about the agents and you want them to provide the best for them so they can be successful. For me, that's what motivates me. When my agents are successful, I'm happy. I feel like I did a good job, right? I led you down the right path. So I wanted to bring them on. So unfortunately, they weren't ready, and I couldn't give them the time that they were waiting for. I had to make the move, right away. But we still talk, like, we'll chat, every now and then. But it's unfortunately, it's not like what it was before. Um, it is what it is. Do I regret rejoining Exit? No, I don't. Like I said, these guys, awesome guys, good people. I have a lot of friends, agents that are still there, and I don't. All the experiences you learn from, you take from it, you grow. So absolutely not. You know, I don't regret being part of Exit both times. Honestly, both times. Yeah, that's true. So I did say where I ended up going. I did say I vowed that I would never ever join this brokerage, ever, ever, yeah, ever, and I'm there. So, and I had a few conversations with some other colleagues, and we talked about when I made that transition. And the reason why is because of how it was presented to me from before. It was people that literally came out of the woodwork, that agents that I might have known in passing, right? Like, through another agent, we've maybe never really talked, but all of a sudden they were my friends, and they wanted to have a sit down, and they wanted to show me how they can make me more successful and all this other stuff. And I'm like, why are you all of a sudden interested in me? Like, what kind of BS is this, honestly? And I learned, yeah, because they want to make money off of me. That's just what it comes down to. And it left a bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, I'll never, ever work with you or be part of that company, because how it was presented, and the people that were presenting that information to me. So what made me rethink it and join? Well, if you know now, so I'm with EXP Realty. That's what I'm talking about, EXP. And what really made me, I guess, open my eyes is that I met Mike Sherrod, and Connor Steinbrook. I met Mike actually in person through a different organization that we're part of. It's with James, Zillow Killer. So we met in Philadelphia, had a good meeting with him, and just his vibe. And really we sat down and we spoke about what he offers with him, and what he and Connor offers, and EXP. So number one, EXP on its own, just what they offer right out the bat was just kind of like, wow, I didn't know that, right? With the stock options and just with how they do the commission cap and the amount of support that you have. When you hear cloud-based brokerage, you're like, okay, well, what happens when you need help? Who do you call? And it's like, well, you have 24-hour support. And you're like, well, how is that possible? No, it's 24-hour support. So you have an accounting issue, no problem, you can reach somebody. You have a problem with anything, you can reach somebody. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And really, honestly, COVID is what got them to perfect their system, because now agents, we learned, we knew, like, you don't need to physically be somewhere to be successful. You just need the support. And if you think about it, when we're working with our clients, we're not in the office. I mean, we're in the office like maybe this much, if that, if you meet with them. But then you're on the road. You're looking at properties, you're going here, you're going to closings, you're at, different places. Like, you're really never at the office. You don't need an office. So Exit, what they offered was amazing. But Mike Sherrod and Connor, what they've done, which they've taken it to the next level, which really got me excited, because now through their system, I knew that I would be able to truly better train my agents and provide them with the tools that they need. So they have their own academy, which is separate from EXP. And the cool thing about it is that it's free. It doesn't cost anything. As long as you're part of the organization under them, if you come in, if you're sponsored under their umbrella, you have access to it. Now, what do you have access to? You have access to full social media, step-by-step training, how to start your YouTube channel, what to do, equipment, the whole nine, right? How to post, what to post. You don't have any ideas? We have a whole spreadsheet of, this is how you get started. You're gonna do a video on this. The topics are there. Like, it's done. The only thing you need to do is execute. That's it. So in addition to that, we have 2 calls weekly. The first one is going to be more on real estate investment, agent attraction. And the second one is mindset, which is another thing that most brokerages lack, is mindset training. They'll train you on, hey, here's a new contract. This is, how you read it, blah, blah, blah. But they don't really train you on how to handle your business. Remember, this is your own business. This is what you've created a business. How to handle that, how to do it. Most people don't have business training. I didn't have it when I went to school, right? I mean, we didn't talk about that in school. I went to public school. This is what it is. Even in college, you didn't get that. So it's more about how to run your business, and then the mindset, right? Because we are going to have challenges throughout business, right? On a weekly basis, daily basis, you're going to have challenges. You're going to have distractions. How to handle that, how to overcome that, how to stay focused, right? How to set goals. Most people don't even have goals. They kind of wing it. It's like, well, we'll see how it goes. No, we need to set goals. And once you start doing that, you start seeing how your life just truly changes. So, yeah, I was very fortunate to meet these guys. And right then, I knew that I had to be part of what they were part of. I mean, it's just tremendous. I mean, I've never seen, even going on a weekly calls. So on their weekly calls, literally we'll have 50 to 70 agents any given time, just on, engaging, being part of it, participating. And these are agents global, not just here in New England, throughout the nation. We have agents from Brazil that come on. We have agents from Argentina. Yep. We have, where did we just launch? Dominican Republic, Mexico, Canada, of course. We have a bunch of agents in Canada. And I think we just opened up, India. And it's so cool to network with these other agents. So even within the organization, we're able to collaborate. If you have folks that are looking to relocate, I mean, it's just easy. And the cool thing about it is that it's free. Okay. And not only that, right? I mean, think about it this way. When's the last time you were in a meeting with multimillionaires and you didn't have to pay for it? Right? How much is the Tony Robbins convention? Go see Tony Robbins, right? To motivate you for, I don't know, a week, couple days. How much does that cost you? And you get that on a weekly basis at no cost. It's just a no-brainer for me. I mean, but again, it was how that information was presented to me. They showed me the value in what they had to offer, and yes, I'm there. I'm excited. I'm happy that I made that decision. And even with the agents that came with me and they went over, I see their growth now. I see their development, what they're doing, how they're transforming their business because they have the right tools. So another positive with EXP and with the group that I'm in is really the model. I mean, if you think about it as a business owner, right? Number one, you come on board, even as a brand new agent, you're going to start at 80-20 split. So you already have 80%. You're making 80% of your commission. And then you cap at $16,000, which is most agents cap. If you're doing this full time, even part time, right? But if you're truly doing this full time, you're going to cap. So now there's 16,000, and then you get 100% of your commission until the end of the year. Now just think about that. I'm not getting into any other benefits, but just think about that right now. So if you're with a brokerage that they continue to charge you and charge you fees and all this other stuff, you're already saving money. Not only that, EXP is a publicly traded company, which means there's stocks, which means you get stock options as well. So when you join the company, you get stock options. When you achieve certain goals, you're rewarded. You get up more stock options. So not only can you make money through saving money from your commission and capping, but now you have money on the stock option point as well. And it gets better. So if you're really a top producer, like you're closing deals, once you've closed, 20 transactions after you cap, EXP will give you back your $16,000 that you paid in stock options. Who does that? First of all, what other company really is giving you stock options? I don't know of any other ones that are giving you stock options. So truly, EXP is invested in your growth because the more you grow, they grow as well, right? So it's like one hand washes the other. And just the tools that you have everything else, right? KV Core, I mentioned that it was like $500 a month. You get that as part of EXP, okay? And that in itself is worth every, like, believe me, if you don't know KV Core, look it up. This thing is freaking amazing. Get your own website out of it. You can do your own advertising on it. You do your own lead tracking on it. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. You know how many agents out there don't even have a CRM? They don't even know what that is. They're like, I just use notebooks and I write stuff down on paper, like, because they don't know how to run their business. We teach you how to do that, okay? Then on a whole nother level, right? So the profit sharing piece. So what EXP does is that they reward you for bringing people into the company, okay? And I remember how you said an exit was just single tier. Well, EXP does it multi-tier. We have 7 layers. So now if I bring someone in and that person brings someone in, I actually receive a bonus from that person that they brought in, right? So it's in my best interest to assist that person. If I can, I'm not obligated to, but it's in my best interest to help them grow because I grow. But not only that, not only 7 layers down, I got 7 layers up. So now I have agents that have been here in the business, top producers, that if I need help, I can reach out to them. And you know what? It's in their best interest to help me because they're benefiting from me as well. So we all work collectively. And honestly, being global, it's amazing because I have partners now in Dominican Republic, in Puerto Rico, Mexico, maybe. We'll see. I'm talking to an agent out there, and we're trying to work out things if we have relocation and that type of stuff. But just having that access at your fingertips is truly amazing. As a business owner, like, you need that, right? I mean, you hear that. You hear all the time. It's like you're only as successful, you're only as successful as the people that are around you. So if you're in a brokerage and you're not around a lot of top producer people, how do you expect to achieve that level of success if no one in your brokerage has ever even achieved that? Right? Yeah, I can open up a book and read you the manual and say, yep, do this and you should be successful, right? Every brokerage has that. But to actually be in the same room or in the same call or be able to talk to these people and say, look, here is the specific challenge that I have. How can you help me? And they say, here you go, right? And they're not sending you an invoice at the end of the phone call. That's huge. So, in a nutshell, that's why I left Exit. So look, real estate evolves. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. I've been practicing real estate now for over 22 years. And I can tell you the markets have shifted. I've been through it when we had the down market, when we had the whole market collapse and so forth. And what we're seeing now, we went to a point where 3-deckers, we're selling at, 400,000. Then you couldn't give them away. And now they're back to 500,000-600,000. It's great. 2-family, 500,000. It's nuts, right? So, I mean, different market. But you got to have a brokerage that can adapt to that and adjust to that. Because if you don't, you're going to sink. And I can tell you firsthand, because when I was in my independent brokerage, I think the most agents we ever had was, and this is when I was with George Russell. We were at 50 agents. And then after the market collapsed, I think we went down to 12. That's it. Right now, EXP Massachusetts, we have over, I think we just broke 1,200 agents in the state of Massachusetts. 1,200 agents here. We have the largest presence in the state. And for good reason. Once you understand the model, once you understand the support that you have, it becomes a no-brainer. So how can you get a hold of me? Well, you know how to get a hold of me. That's it, right? I'm Big Lou the Realtor. That's it. Now you can find me. Absolutely. No, listen. Yeah, I mean, if you have questions, if you want to break down the numbers, really, because that's what it is, right? Math doesn't lie. So if you want to break down the numbers and see, really what you would have earned if you were here, what you would have benefited, then absolutely, I'll be happy to sit down with you. We could do a one-on-one consultation, Zoom, meet in person, whatever you want, and I'll go over the model with you, no problem. I'll get you deeper into what we do. We host a weekly call 3 times a week for individuals that are thinking about EXP and they just want to know more about it. I'll provide you the link to that. You're welcome to join in. You'll either meet with my partners, either Mike or Connor. I'm on there sometimes, but I'm usually teaching at night, so sometimes I'm unable to make the calls. But 'cause I do the pre-license course and the broker courses. But you're welcome to sit in. It's about 45 minutes. Goes over everything that we have to offer and why so many agents are coming on board. And then after that we can chat and see if we can help you with your business. All right. Thank you. Until next time.